Get a key that does something.
That would be a bummer.
Oh, look, I see us on the Twitch.
Howdy, Twitch people. We are here, having fun.
The Twitch.
Some of us are drinking beer. Some of us are drinking rum.
Let's see. I don't see it on Facebook yet. Come on, Facebook. You're always the last one. Like the slow kid in the class. There we go.
Just popped up on me. Who do I want to moderate today? Twitch or YouTube? Twitch it is. Twitch it is.
Come to our... This
The way you have
cord
it
is in the
cropped,
way.
my background is not too bad. You're a genius, sir.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, I'm giving you mad credit. You are a genius.
Well, thank you.
Oh, man. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. And hello, Facebook.
Bing bong. Okay. I don't know why I said that. That's weird.
It's a great movie.
Inside Out.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good movie. The little imaginary friend dude was kind of strange, but
Oh, he was my favorite.
I liked Mr. Angry or whatever his name was. I'd slam his fists down and like all this fire shoots out of his head.
I don't understand why you would like him. He was angry all the time.
Yeah, not like I have a stressful job or anything.
I liked Joy. She was fun.
She reminded me of is it Progressive that has Flo, the insurance lady?
Yeah.
I don't know why. They just made me think of her. Very positive and very
Joy.
bubbly. Yeah.
Would you like to buy some insurance from me? Of course I would, Joy, Flo, whoever you may be. Yeah, that's actually a good comparison. I never thought about that one.
All right. Well, I'm going to start the recording here on this little thing. There we go.
Okay, I'm looking at mine. Mine is not rising very much.
It is on mine.
Okay, so it's looking okay.
Yeah. Plus, in OBS, it actually shows me the decibels, and you're looking good. You're hitting like -15, which is perfect.
Okay, so I'm not clipping or anything.
You're right in the middle of the yellow.
Perfect.
You want to introduce, or do you want me to?
I guess I could.
Okay.
I don't have anything written down, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Views from the World Tree. On this week's show, we throw topics aside and we just shoot the shit as we give you Potpourri Volume 3. And now, on with the show.
Hey, for unscripted, that was really good. Good job.
It just came to me. I mean,
You're a natural.
look at that. You get me a fancy mic and all of a sudden I think I'm a radio show host.
Good stuff. Well, in the absence of topics, I guess we'll go ahead with news like we typically do. So for reading this week, I have not been reading anything new. I'm still working my way through all of my Audible backlogs. What's the one called that I'm doing? Failure is Not an Option. The Apollo 13 flight director one. And Also hitting Sandman Volume 2. I finished Volume 1, so I guess that's a little bit of reading news. But
There you go. Where are you at in the Apollo 13 story now?
I am about, I want to say 80% of the way through. So it's interesting. Like, it was very backstory heavy. So he spent a lot of time like leading up to the formation of like the Apollo program, and he went over all of the like developing the different rockets in the early days of NASA, and then he like skipped over a lot of stuff in the middle, and now he's spending a lot of time on what is kind of the interesting stuff, right? Because that's what everybody knows. So all about the Apollo program and the moon landing and Apollo 13 and all that stuff. So, but
That I don't know. You keep talking about it, and I'm like, oh, I need to check that out. I need to check that out. I need to check that out. So maybe I'll finally check it out.
it's a good one. I don't typically do the autobiographies, but this one's been pretty good. The only other autobiography, in fact, that I really liked as much as this one was The Skunk Works. I don't know if you ever read that one. It was all about a guy who was like one of the top engineers that worked on the SR-71, and that one was a lot of fun.
Okay. I was going to say, I know I've heard that name before, but I couldn't remember what it was attached to.
Yeah, if you're into like, aviation, aeronautical engineering, like if you're a nerd for that kind of stuff at all, then definitely check that one out.
Nice.
And then as far as what I have been watching, so I actually discovered a new show. I'm trying to remember. I was watching a YouTube video. I don't even remember what it was about, but the person mentioned this show. It's called The Detectorists. It's on Amazon Prime. It's very much a British humor comedy series. So it stars Mackenzie Crook. He actually is the writer and director. And the only thing that I know him from is he was in Pirates of the Caribbean. He played the pirate with the wooden eye.
Oh, Orlando Bloom's dad or whatever. No. One of the original crooks. That guy.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's been so long since I've watched it. I can't
There
remember.
was the two of them that were supposed to be like the dumb comic relief.
Yeah.
And there was the one guy that was bald, and there was this other guy, and that's the guy who's in this one.
I just remember when they were shooting the kitchen utensils at the ship. You had a fork got stuck in it.
That's right, the fork.
That guy. Yeah. Fork.
That's the guy. That's the guy. And then the other main actor is Toby Jones, who, if you've watched the MCU movies, he plays Dr. Zola, the German scientist, and he also plays in a bunch of other stuff. But he's probably most well known for that. He's in like the Hunger Games and a few other things. And so the premise of this is that there are two just like super boring, like run-of-the-mill guys living in England, and to kind of break up the monotony, they go out metal detecting. They're part of this like local club that has like 4 or 5 people, and so they go out in the country and ask these farmers if they can go out in their fields and try and find like treasure and stuff like that. It's pretty, I don't know, it's not like an edge of your seat thing, but it's kind of fun to watch if you're into this kind of just like dry, witty banter that a lot of British comedy has. So I think you would like it.
Yeah, I'll have to add that to my list. For sure.
Excuse me. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything newsworthy. I saw Elon Musk decided to stop backpedaling on the Twitter thing. He said he's going to go ahead and go forward with it. I happened to be like scrolling through Twitter when he announced that. And so I was like, oh, I gotta. So I jumped over to my brokerage account and bought about $100 of Twitter.
You and everybody else.
We'll see what it does. They actually halted trading on it for a while, but I was able to get in there before they did that, luckily. So
it's funny. You went to your brokerage account, and I went to Reddit. I went to Wall Street Bets to see what everybody was saying over there.
Yeah.
And quite a few people went, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, and this is the next GameStop." And I'm like, at $55 a share, it's not the next GameStop. I don't see it going higher than like 60 if it goes.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still up right now. I think it only jumped like $5 or $10, but I'm trying to decide if I want to hold on to it or just dump it while it's up. I'll probably just dump it while it's up.
Have fun with those capital gains taxes, man.
Yeah. Anyway, super boring. This is, yeah. Don't typically talk about investment type stuff, but it's pretty dry.
I don't know. Sometimes it's exciting. I guess I'll start with what I was watching. There's a Netflix series called Eat the Rich, and it's all about the GameStop scandal, like the subreddit of Wall Street Bets, and everybody doing a squeeze on the hedge funds that were shorting. And so today I was home from work and school because I've got a little bit of a cold, and in the times of post-COVID, people don't want you going out in public when you've got a cough and a sore throat. So
Yeah.
I sat and I watched that today, and it was fascinating the way it all went down. Very well done documentary.
Pretty, like impartial or?
Yes and no. It's the people who did come on to be interviewed were all fans of the short squeeze with GameStop. They had one compulsive gambler who, during the pandemic, he used to make YouTubes and TikToks in Las Vegas of him winning a bunch of money, and he needed a place to go and gamble, and so he kind of talked about that, and he ended up losing his house because he couldn't cover his losses.
Yeesh.
And his response was just YOLO. You only live once. Like, he's just the mistakes of your early 20s. I mean, good for him for making mistakes young, but it kind of sounds like he's not going to learn from losing $500,000. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't, man. You've either got to have like a really laissez-faire like life outlook, or have like a shit ton of money to be able to lose 500 grand and just be like, whatever.
I don't think he had a bunch of money, because he did have to sell his house to cover his debts.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the gambler's fallacy, right? Like, they make it big, they're going to make it big all the time. And the documentary actually touched on that a little bit, how some of these folks that were up 10, 20, 30, 40 times their initial investment started to feel invincible. Definitely a good documentary. Sorry,
Nice.
tangent. Impartiality. So the people that did agree to be interviewed were all very big proponents on the squeeze. But it showed stock footage of the congressional hearings. It showed one of the advocates' YouTube videos, and kind of brought that in about how he influenced everybody, and then the controversy about how one of the moderators on Wall Street Bets read it, as well as and the YouTuber were the same person who actually had a trading license
Mm-hmm.
and ended up losing his financial trading license because of this whole thing. So it is an interesting story, and it's fascinating just how it went down.
Yeah. I mean, those that made out definitely made out like bandits. So I just feel bad for all the plebs that were left holding the bag.
Yeah.
It's
One of the
part of playing
girls,
the market, I guess.
one of the girls that was interviewed, she made a bunch, she lost a bunch, and then she invested more when it was bottoming out after the massive sell-off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she only lost maybe 10% of her initial investment because her return on investment balanced out at that point, and she just sold it for a minimal loss compared to some of
Gotcha.
these folks. So, I mean, we're not an investing show, but it was a fascinating documentary, and I would recommend it.
Yeah. And it sounds like it was an interesting one.
Yeah. Since I'm kind of on the watching thing, my wife and I have been watching Leverage Redemption, which is a freebie show on Amazon Prime with commercials. And it's basically a bunch of crooks stealing from the rich and returning ill-gotten goods to the poor. It's kind of fun.
Nice. Yeah, I think you mentioned that one last week.
Yeah.
I remember watching it back in the day. It's a good one.
So neither one of us watched the original one, so just this sequel.
Okay.
But once we're done with the sequel, we're gonna go rewatch or watch for the first time all the originals before the second season of the sequel comes out.
Makes sense. So it's not dependent on needing to have seen the first one then?
There's jokes and there's little Easter eggs that have gone over our heads,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, today I watched a Christmas episode with LeVar Burton in it.
Oh, nice.
And LeVar Burton played a former, special ops military guy.
Really? Interesting.
Who was posing as a librarian. And he was written with a bunch of one-liners from Reading Rainbow. And Noah Wilde is one of the characters in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept making references about how, being a librarian is a more difficult job than people think, type of thing. And it was just, it was like breaking the fourth wall in such a comedic way that it was fun.
Nice. So not like She-Hulk then. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I haven't. We got rid of Disney before that one came out.
I think they've broken the fourth wall in every episode in an attempt to be funny like Deadpool or something, but it's just way over the top. Anyway.
My wife and I watched Fuller House, the sequel to Full House.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that one.
The first season, they broke the fourth wall all the time, and it was annoying to me.
Uh-huh.
And then the second time through that my wife and I watched it, I thought it was comedic genius the way they were breaking the fourth wall. I don't know. Hit or miss. Has to be written well. I guess I have to be in the right mindset.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be done right. And I couldn't tell you what the right way is, but I don't know. Anyway, you were talking about your news and stuff, so.
Oh, no. I mean, this is Potpourri show. This is kind of what we do. Bounce from topic to topic, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Reading haven't really been reading much. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I haven't been reading much, but I did download the 4 Hour Work Week off of Audible,
Hmm.
and I plan on listening to that to and from work when I'm commuting.
Cool.
Coming up soon. Yeah. So that's about it. But that isn't our show because, as we kind of hinted at last week, a new World of Warcraft expansion has dropped. There's some games on the horizon, some shows that I would like to talk about. So don't go anywhere. We are still discussing things. Starting with Adam, how is Wrath of the Lich King Classic?
Wrath Classic is going well. I don't know. It's interesting. I would say the first time around back in 2008, because I had played Vanilla, the second half of Vanilla, and Burning Crusade, but I actually never hit level cap until Wrath of the Lich King. So, I didn't really start like playing the end game content and doing raids and stuff until Wrath. And so it's been really interesting to see it from both perspectives. The first time as somebody who was, had been an MMO player for a while, but was new to like the concept of end game raiding, and then seeing it again as somebody who has been, who has done raiding and end game PvE quite extensively, and I almost prefer, like, I don't know. Some of it might just be the whole rose-colored glasses thing, but I almost preferred it the first time around. It's like this time around, I mean, you already know all of the tricks. You already know all of the storyline. You already know how to optimize everything. And so a lot of the fun of the discovery is not there anymore.
I guess that's fair. I haven't gotten into it, but I've been watching a couple YouTubers and a couple people on Twitch play it who weren't there the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a joy to see the excitement of discovery through somebody else's eyes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, the parts that I enjoy the most about it is seeing people like in my guild discover it for the first time, or helping players that are out in the world that are doing things for the first time. Like the other day I saw somebody that was struggling with a quest where I don't know, there was a little bit of a puzzle aspect to it, and so I was running past and they're like, hey, like, I'm really sorry to bother you. Is there any way you could like help me or give me a hint? Or and I was like, sure, yeah. It's like, you want to, think about it this way and try this, and if you get stuck, just send me a chat. I'm gonna be over in this area, but I'll be online for a little while if you need me. And they sent me a message about 5 minutes later, and they were like, I figured it out. They were like so happy. They were like, thank you so much for helping me.
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
Not a problem. Like, so that's been fun to see.
So it's kind of capturing how Warcraft used to be, with people like actually helping each other out. And
for the most part, yeah. It's from what I've seen, you've got the super hardcore players they've pretty much already hit level cap, and they're getting ready to start raiding and trying to gear up and things like that. But then you have other people that are more casual, either because they're like me and they're just trying to play and recapture some of that nostalgia, or because they're new to it and that's why I've just been kind of taking my time, is because I'm enjoying, like, I'm not necessarily that I'm enjoying leveling up my character, because I've been there and done that, but I'm enjoying the interactions that I'm having with people while I'm going through and just kind of casually doing quests and stuff. So
Fair. Yeah, that is a good time. As you were talking, I was actually kind of thinking back to my first time leveling through, and just remembering the places where other players would wait to ambush you, the places where players in your faction would kind of hang out to help the people that were getting camped, and just the joy of being part of a bigger community. It's and I'm glad that Classic is bringing that back. Um, I honestly think that's what the current game has missed for so long.
yeah, and I think they struck a good balance in Wrath Classic. I mean, they have the group finder tool in the game, but it's not the automatic, like, join a queue, wait for the dungeon finder to go and find everybody for all of the different roles, and then it automatically puts you in a group and you just click the little button. It's just a bulletin board, basically. Like, I know you know what I'm talking about because you were there, but for people that are listening that haven't played it, it's basically just an in-game bulletin board where you say, hey, I want to run through this dungeon. This is the people that we're looking for, and then they can contact you through that. So I think that is a good balance of there's a centralized location for people that want to play in a group, but you still have to interact. As opposed to, like, in vanilla, there was no centralized location. You were just throwing your message out there into the world chat
Into
and
the
just
void.
getting lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a good time. I mean, it was a good point in the game the first time around, and it's a pretty good point in the game the second time around. So
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Still haven't decided if I'm going to resubscribe or not for it.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm probably, like, I play maybe twice a week now, but that's probably going to change at the end of November when Dragonflight comes out, the new expansion for retail. Because I'm probably going to stop playing Wrath Classic and go play Dragonflight, because, new world to explore, new zones, new characters, new classes and races, and get to be a dragon.
That one does look fun. I keep thinking, I should re-download the client and just get it ready in case I decide to go. So I might do that, depending on certain circumstances that are coming up here at the end of the year, especially in regards to school. It'll drop about the time that finals week starts for me, and that is never a good plan.
That's not a good combination. I've been there before.
So
cool.
Next question: have you watched Cyberpunk, the anime, on Netflix yet?
I started to. I watched like the first half of the first episode, and then I don't remember what happened. It was good. I think like the dogs had to go outside or something, and so I took them out and then got playing with the dogs and forgot to go pick it up. But I assume that you've been watching it, so
I'm on the third episode.
Okay.
And I liked it so much I re-downloaded the game onto my Xbox. But that's besides the point. My biggest complaint, though, is It's more violent than I anticipated.
Hmm.
I don't mind violence, but it almost feels gratuitous at points.
Is it um? So is it violent or is it gory? Because I don't mind the violence, but I don't care for the gore fest.
Both.
Okay.
Um,
I guess you can't really have gore without violence, but
it's like the violence of Sword Art Online. So like the super close up battle scenes
mm-hmm.
with the gore of Attack on Titan.
Okay.
And so when a bullet goes through a character's head, like they do the whole zoom in, slow mo, matrixy, blood splatter,
Bullet
like Dragon
time,
Ball
yeah.
Z, just your classic Japanese anime. But I'm almost 40 years old. I don't need to see some of these brains splatter in an animation.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's my one complaint on it. Other than that, it's great. I think it's a joy.
Yeah. The how's the animation style? Is it what's the other one they did recently? The other video game one. It was League of Legends, but I can't remember the name of the series.
Oh, I never watched the League of
Arcana
Legends.
or Arcane. Arcane, that's what it was called. Arcane. Because that one had a really cool, like, almost like watercolory art style. Or like when Warcraft was doing the animated shorts during Legion and Battle for Azeroth. That was really cool. So I just wondered if Netflix kind of followed the same thing with their with the Cyberpunk one as they did with their other video game anime.
It feels more traditional Japanese anime.
Okay.
I was just looking up. It's directed by Hiroyuki Imaishi. I think I'm saying that quasi right. And he's the one that did Kill la Kill. It's from the same studio that did Little Witch Academia. I
Okay.
don't know. Yeah, looking through, it's a very traditional anime style.
Gotcha. Cool.
But yeah, I think it's great. I think they did a good job with it. Like I said, I just wish it had a little less gratuity to its violence.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. When you were talking about it, it reminded me. I remember that there was an update for the Cyberpunk 2077 game that apparently added a bunch of content from. It's called Edge Runners. Is the name of the show, I think. Have you played any of that in the game?
I have not. Like I said, I'd re-downloaded it. Here's the confession: I re-downloaded it today, so 51 gigabytes of
Okay.
of stuff. It'll probably be ready for me to play tomorrow. So
Gotcha. Okay.
we'll see if I can find anything. But
Yeah, because I was curious about that. So I don't have it on my PC or my Xbox anymore, but I do have it on the Steam Deck. But before I filled up my memory card with 50 gigs of extra stuff, I was wondering if it was worth it. So you'll have to let me know what you think.
I think it's more cosmetic from what I was reading.
Like skins and stuff?
Yeah. Like clothing, weapons.
Interesting.
I think they did add one or two characters into the game that you could interact with, possibly from the anime.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. One thing I do know is the player base. after the anime came out, actually surpassed Witcher 3's player base after the Witcher TV series came out.
Really?
So Cyberpunk looks like it's being resurrected.
That's about that time. These things tend to go on like a 30-year cadence, 30 to 40-year cadence. So at least I think that's kind of when Cyberpunk came into being, right? Back in like you had Blade Runner and Neuromancer, the book, and
Around the 80s, late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Tron.
Oh, good movie. The sequel, not so much, but
the sequel was okay.
It was all right, yeah.
It wasn't my favorite, but
the CGI, what's his name? Definitely had suffered from some of that uncanny valley with just his looks and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think that's actually when I first subscribed to Disney, that Tron and Tron Legacy were the first two movies I watched.
Oh, interesting.
On Disney Plus.
Cool.
So, I'm a sucker for that hardcore sci-fi futuristic world thing.
Yeah, I remember watching Tron when I was a kid with my dad. That was fun. It was a good show.
So campy. It's so bad now. You look at it and you're like, oh, yeah.
Big bad master control program. The hover jets, like the little whatever upside down arch shape things, but
yeah. It's I don't know. It's kind of funny to look back at, like, what just went, oh my gosh, this is amazing back in the day. I did that with Mad Max the other day. That was on I think Shout Factory TV.
Uh-huh.
And I was just sitting there watching it going, man, I remember when I wanted to have like a muscle car and drive through the desert, like causing a ruckus.
Mm-hmm.
And now I look at the time that it was supposedly supposed to happen, and I look at the outfits and the costuming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is stupid.
So, original Mad Max, or?
Oh yeah, original, okay. Like Australian desert, tore apart a national park for the sake of filming something Mad Max.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember why I was watching it, but I recently watched the original, and then the second one. I think the first two, yeah. Because Fury Road, the modern one, is still in like one of my top 5 movies of all time, and so I think I wanted to go back and watch the first ones, and they just, some of the costumes, man, with the standoff in the desert
don't quite hold up, do they?
It was like tight black vinyl shorts and stuff. Oh dear.
Which is totally what people would wear in the desert. Tight, skin-tight clothing that makes you unable to have kids.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But Fury Road, that was a masterpiece. It was so beautiful.
I'll have to check that one out. I actually don't think that I've watched that one.
That one is good. If you haven't seen that one, you need to see that one.
Okay.
And if you can, you need to watch it on a 4K TV. Because part of the award, or most of the awards it won, were for like cinematography and visual effects and stuff, and just the red desert sand contrasted with the dark blue desert sky. It's just a beautiful movie.
Nice.
So it's good even not in 4K. But
I was gonna say, I haven't watched the Dune reboot either.
I started to, but I don't remember why I stopped watching that one either. Just ADD, I guess.
I don't know. I watched it until David Bowie's character, or I wanted to watch it until I remember that David Bowie died, and he wasn't going to reprise his role. I'm like, no, that sucks.
Yeah. I watched a few episodes of it. Jason Momoa did a really good job. But, yeah. Oh, sorry, got the yawns.
No worries. It's kind of late today. Yeah. I'm at a loss. You're yawn through me.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Well, do you have anything?
I don't think so. Just trying to. It's getting harder and harder to find things to talk about that are not like depressing with the crazy world.
That is true. So I think we should probably wrap this episode up. It'll be a short one today.
Yeah.
But next week, what's in store for us?
What did we decide on?
I think we're doing the psyops from the CIA.
That's right. The men who stare at goats.
I've actually never seen it. And I'm really excited to learn more about this silly thing.
Yeah, should be good.
Well, so that wraps up today's show. We're not doing mindfulness. We tend not to do those on the on our ramblings when we do our potpourri shows. But we wanted to do a potpourri show to give us a break on researching topics, and also give us a chance to talk about movies, sci-fi books, sci-fi films, and video games, which sometimes we want to talk about more when we're in the news section of the show, but it isn't always long enough to justify an entire episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, we'll see you next week as we stare deep into goats to try to explode them.
Sounds good. We'll see you then.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Sorry about that.